and get it. All right. So good evening. We then going to officially open up. We had a bit of a delay there because I had sent an invitation to my people, my personal friends, for 18:30, and then when the event was put up, it was put up for 7 o'clock, and hence we kind of had to delay a little bit. But it gave us time to get to know each other. I see that Neville is also here. So Neville, Nolan, Carly, and Marika, those are our new members here in Pretoria. Well, some of them have already signed up, and I'm kind of I'm doing the closing already. So I'm saying they're new members because I'm kind of I'm closing them down already as it stands. All right. So let me quickly just hand it over then to. No, I don't have to hand over to Taron anymore. I got to do this. I have to do this myself.
I'll support you. I'll clap from the back.
All right. So we're going to go through, the idea tonight is to talk about how we can start a business on a budget. And I'm so glad that we have someone like Ian Hutting here as well. The idea, and of course, we're going to have myself and Yoke be speakers, but honestly, I think the greatest sort of like complaint that I've heard from many of our members is how sometimes when we bring on guests, it's not very practical, and some people just come and talk about the work that they do, and it doesn't necessarily sometimes translate into applicable value into how they can be able to grow their businesses. And I must say, during the convention, probably one of my favorite, in fact, you know, the one that I really got the most tremendous amount of value for me as a speaker was a presentation that Ian did. And at some point, I'm going to, you know, have to somehow find my way to get him to come and do something for us. But when he went into how we can engage with our clients live using AHA slides, and just, it was for me, oh, I enjoyed that so much. It's not even funny. And I would also want to just maybe have his contribution somewhere down the line, and he can tell us what are some of the most affordable ways, affordable things that he does to make his business grow a little bit. Because that is literally the theme today. The theme today is how can you start and grow your professional speaking business on a budget. So if you guys then have a look at the chat menu there, I did drop down those PDF files. I don't know if you're able to download them at all and have a look at them. Let me know if you guys see what I'm talking about and if you're able to open them up. Okay, somebody says I see it. Okay, are you able to at least open it up yourself and check it out?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all good, Jabu.
All right, fantastic. And so when you go, yes.
I see there's a message from David saying that he arrived late. If it's possible for you to just drop them again.
Or drop them again.
Thanks.
I can do that. I can certainly do that. So when you come in late, it does that. They're not able to pick them up, huh?
Yeah, anyone that comes in after something's sent doesn't see the previous stuff.
Okay. Everyone in meeting and just do it right now. Yeah, so it's a big document and a smaller document. And in that document, he sort of, there's a list of all the speakers, that he spoke to that were able to grow their businesses in 2021, when most of us were struggling to build our businesses, but these guys were able to grow their businesses. And they cut a couple of things that they did. And if I remember correctly, I remember one of the things that he mentioned that was very, very important was the fact that a lot of them, if not all of them, they added a few words. And one of the words they added was COVID-19. And the other one was change management. And there were other words like resilience that were added as a way of changing the scripting so that when clients are looking for the types of services, then they could at least be able to appear on any search platforms or on any online platforms. And I thought that was quite powerful when he said that, because I hadn't thought about that. It was kind of, it was like, oh, I didn't do that. But the other thing also then, for those of you that are able to open it up, I mean, there's just basic things that I want to go through, because each one of the speakers had sort of like a tagline, a key line that they talked about as far as what they did. Okay, so on page 7, for those of you that are able to open up the documents, there's a gentleman there by the name of David Evren, who deals with customer engagement, and I think is US based. So he said that your customers are changing to compete. You need to change as well. And as he was talking, it made me think of this statistic, which is one of my most favorite one, was that information is doubling every 2.5 years. What that basically means is that the client that you spoke to 2.5 years ago, if they have been developing themselves, they're more likely they're more likely have doubled up in the information. And so if you as a speaker are not adding to your collection of information and knowledge and skills, your clients are going to outgrow you, and you might find yourself being irrelevant at some point if you're not following that. All right. The other gentleman was David Heiner. And then David Heiner, he talked about setting goals, how important that was. And Graham Newell spoke a lot about the importance of having interactive workshops and trying to be as precise as you possibly could be in your information, and also as far as the collection of the infrastructure that you're building. And I'll talk a little bit about that when I do a bit of my talk in terms of the infrastructure that I currently have, which is not on a lot of money, but it's working at the moment. And I think that's where I'm going to be leaning quite a lot as well on Tyron and Ian, to give us a little bit more about what sort of infrastructure they currently have, and what within what they currently have would be affordable for a speaker that's currently starting out. All right, so I think it'll be a lot easier, guys. Look, I mean, I can go through this, but since you have it with you and you will be having an access to the video, I think I would rather leave it to us having a more interactive session, going over to Yoke to start us off, so that you can have a bit more of questions and answers. You can ask the questions and you can be able to respond to them. And then after that, I'll go in and do my thing. And then at the end, then I keep on prompting them in a way, and also suppose taking advantage of the presence of someone like Ian here as well, that it's towards the end of the talk, that he will share quite a bit of what he would think is we need when we're starting out in our businesses, and what we need to do right in this particular moment to grow our businesses so that we can be profitable, support our families, but also bring a massive change in the world. So with that being said, before I go on, I don't know if anybody has any questions, any point of clarity.
Yes, Chabu.
Yes, Michael.
I have a question and a point of clarity. The point of clarity is your screen. There's something wrong. There's like a line down your screen. And my question is, what is it?
Okay, you know what? I'll have to
Light refraction.
I'll adjust my lighting here. I hope it's gonna work though.
It does look like a light streak, but when you move it around, it seems to go with it. So.
Yeah, it's hold on a second. Let me try this.
Sorry, it's just really
It's okay.
oh, that's much better. There you go.
Yeah, the challenge here is I'm downstairs so that I don't have an echo.
Oh, it's much better, yeah. Especially for like when you do your talk and you're recording it, it's going to look terrible. So that looks great. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Any other point of clarity?
Nolan says it's your energy.
Does anybody worries about, want to know why I don't have hair? No? Okay, great. Let's go over then to our first speaker for tonight. And this would be Yoke. Now, Yoke has been called the Kintsugi Queen because of her ability to join, prepare, and transform teams, and then turn them into something quite wonderful. Okay, she has staked her hand, also her hard-won reputation on the premise that all teams can be turned around to become collaborative, committed, and cohesive superstars of the organizations they serve. Her hard-won experience of 15 years and tried and tested high-performance processes have seen even the most fissured and fractured teams join and come together, become stronger in a remarkable way. She's passionate about the buying brain, and she became obsessed with persuasion, sales, and influence ever since she was selling pizza at the tender age of 15. So through her company, Y Connect, she empowers leaders and teams to find their voice, step into their power, and speak in a way so that people want to listen to them. Today, as a qualified behavioral change coach, she teaches leaders and sales professionals how to get people to buy into their ideas and to action them. She's a founder of Y Connect, leader of Female Entrepreneurship Collective, and a professional member of the PSASA, and serves on the Speakers Committee for the Professional Speakers Association of Southern Africa, the Johannesburg chapter. All right, wow, that is quite a lot that Yoke has been up to. So without further ado, Yoke, welcome. Thank you for being with us. I'm looking forward to hear what you have to say to us tonight. Over to you. Let's give
Nice to be here.
hand clap, guys. Let's give a visual hand clap or clap hands. There we go. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So the first thing I would love you to do is quickly grab your phone and quickly scan that QR code. And I'm just going to check that you all do that, because that will take you through to my website. And if you stay until the end, I have a coupon code that I'm going to give you for a discount where you can download some free stuff or book a session at a discounted rate. But I would really love to have you to connect with me. So that's my website. And if you're on my website, you can get access to all of my social media as well. All of the links are on there. So I just show me a thumbs up if you're able to do that, but I'll show it to you a little bit later. Alrighty. And then I wanted to show you something else as well. And then I want you to grab your phone and quickly grab my LinkedIn and connect with me on LinkedIn, because what I'm going to be doing is tomorrow I'll run a little competition. And if you go and comment on the post in terms of what were your core learnings, you can win a free coaching session with me to the value of $2,000. So please grab the QR code and go through to my LinkedIn tomorrow, where I'll be running this competition, and just post a few things on the post specifically where I'm asking about what were your core takeaways. Alrighty. So I fell in love with the words of Steve Jobs in his Harvard commencement address, where he spoke about a concept called connecting the dots. And what Steve Jobs said is, in your life, you can't possibly connect the dots going forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. And if I had to look at when I started my business in 2017, I would have to backtrack all the way to 2008 when I found my purpose. So for many, many years before 2008, I was utterly unsatisfied. I'd studied publishing. I worked for Oxford and Pearson publishers. And all of the time I was like, if I die now and I meet my creator, he'll say to me, Yoke, you've wasted your talents. And I always knew that I loved drama, I loved speaking, but I didn't possibly know what kind of a career would actually pay me to do something that I enjoyed. But I just knew that sales, just selling other people's products, definitely wasn't it. And in 2008, while I was working for Pearson Publishers, we were sent on a presentation skills course. And this lady, Deshaun Castle, I think she's still a member at PSA Johannesburg. She spoke and she did a 2-day presentation skills course. And then she was telling us stories about how she climbs the 7 summits and how she's climbed Everest 5 times. And then she would get sponsored by First for Women. And then she'll speak about, resilience, pushing through, how she had to gain weight before going and build strength. And then afterwards actually lose the weight again, because now you actually have to change your eating patterns. Because while you're climbing Everest, you actually lose about 10 kgs. And if you are actually below the weight that you're supposed to be, you're going to be really sick while you're hiking. And I ran up to her and said, how can this be a career? This is my dream. And that's where I got my purpose. And I was like, wow, I would love to be a speaker, a trainer, and a coach. And I wanted to share my journey with you, looking back at the dots, way back all the way to 2008, where I started doing the following things. Because what I realize now, looking back at when I started my business officially in 2017, is that before you can sell anything, you need confidence in yourself. You need to know that you are a master at your craft. You need to believe that you actually have the necessary knowledge, and only then can you start selling. So the first thing I did is I said to her, what is a journey? And she said, well, there's no formal journey as a speaker at that stage, but she said, why don't you join Toastmasters? And that was how my 10,000 hours of building my speaking skill, becoming a speaker and a trainer and a coach actually started. Where other things that I also looked at was getting media attention. So people need to get to know you. Plus another world champion that I got to know through attending Toastmaster conferences, Darren LaCroix, really inspired me. And Darren LaCroix said the following: stage time, stage time, stage time. And he said, it doesn't help you to just keep on speaking at Toastmasters, which I did for 10 years. He was like, no, you need to get out of Toastmasters and go and speak in front of other audiences. So off I went. Another tip that I got from a lady in PR, Rianette Libovich, that was recently speaking at the PSA Johannesburg chapter, way back when I was interested in getting into PR, was whatever you do, get photo evidence. So now looking back at the dots, all of those years, I wanted to show you some of the photo evidence that I got and the people that really inspired me along the way. So the first person was Deshaun Castle. Then I started going to Toastmaster conferences and I met Douglas Gruger. And I remember the first time listening to him speaking at an area or a division contest, and I nearly fell off my chair. And I was like, wow, I couldn't imagine that anyone could speak in such an incredible way. And throughout the years, I've really subscribed to Douglas's YouTube videos. I have stalked him around, gone to all of his book launches, attended most of his talks, and really invested in, I think, all of his books. And one of the things that he's really said is that in expert positioning, it's really at the triangle of people need to know you, so you need to get into the media. You need to have the necessary knowledge. So you need to do all of the research. You need to be up to date. You need to have a lot of information from what's out there, but then you need to add your own 10 cents. And then you need a personality. Because he says, if you have the knowledge and if you have the media attention and the personality, you're like a Kim Kardashian that has no substance, but what you want is really have all of those 3 elements combined. So I joined Toastmasters, and what I found in my 10 years at Toastmasters, and I know that that Gary Tintinger, that's here, so I'll brag about you a little bit, Gary. When I met Gary at Golden Gavel Toastmasters, that was my 3rd Toastmaster club. So I joined Toastmasters in 2008. I was at President Toastmasters. I did my first 10 speeches. In 2010, I moved to Johannesburg. I joined 4th Dimension Toastmasters. was one of the best clubs in Johannesburg. And then in the club, I met a lot of people from Golden Gavel Advanced Toastmasters. And what they said to me is, if you want to be the best tennis player, hang out with tennis players that are better than you. And what I found being at both Fourth Dimension and Golden Gavel Toastmasters is I was upping my game a lot. I was getting a lot of time on my feet. But where I really, really found value is when I started getting into the advanced manuals. So I found the facilitator manual. And after studying NLP in 2012, I found that the combination of NLP plus then the facilitator manual was the perfect foundation to learn facilitation. So I started doing things like brainstorming sessions, the nominal group technique. I had to get insights from a lot of people in the room and not put my ideas on them. So you're merely just acting as the facilitator. What I also really found massive value in Toastmasters was you would always get feedback, and people are very keen to give you feedback. Where often in the speaking environment, you would say to people, what did you think? And people would say, that was good or that was bad, but they wouldn't be able to go into a lot of details. Toastmasters will give you a 3.5-page essay about things that you did well and things that would make you a lot better. So what I found really helpful in that environment is the moment you get into leadership. So I started volunteering, and I think all of my years at Toastmasters, I don't know, maybe there was 6 months that I wasn't on a committee. So as you know, I've also almost all of my time at the professional speakers, I've also been on a committee, because what you'll find is the moment you get into leadership, you get a lot more stage time. There's opportunities to MC, there's opportunities to train, you get onto larger stages. Because you are on the organizational side of things, people get to know you. So instantly there's that recognition factor. So what I found as I was getting to become an area director and a Toastmaster leader trainer, I was getting into larger stages. And it was starting to give me the confidence to say, if these people that are doctors, engineers, lawyers are saying that my content is good, potentially it is good. So I'm saying to you, get onto stages, but not just in Toastmasters. So where are the other opportunities? Besides those, let me just get in there. Another place I went to was Mensa. Because I was stalking Douglas Gruger, I saw that he was speaking there, and I spoke there about 3 times. There's a very active club in Pretoria that you could visit. I started contacting Rotary Clubs, Lions Clubs. And what it really forced me to do was to start developing longer presentations, 30 minutes to an hour, and you would also have an active audience. But very often that audience would be quite old, so that might not be your ideal audience in terms of selling product. But while you're still developing your confidence, you want to get in front of as many audiences and test out your message as much as you can. The photo that you see here at the bottom was actually a stage photo. I was at Fourth Dimension Toastmasters, and I actually hired a photographer. I set up the room in the way that I wanted it to look. I had my slides up and I was presenting. And while I was presenting, the photographer took photos. So what I realized, even before I had any paid training work, and while I was still working at Entrepreneur Magazine, and before I even got to working at Autotrader, I had already started developing my collateral and my evidence that I could speak and that I was a speaker and a trainer. Other things that you need to look at is you need to look at corporate headshots. And I've put up a photo here for you. This was my very first photo that I got taken by that same photographer that same day. We went to the campus. I went and bought quite a few different outfits, but what you need to know is your look is going to change a lot over the years. So you can't keep on using photos from 9 years ago, because as you can see, there's a very big difference even in my hair from 2013 to 2017, 2018, when the photo on the right was taken, versus the photo at the bottom where I'm actually speaking at a Disrupt HR event. So you want to get photos corporate headshots taken, but you also need to get photos of you on stage in front of people actually showing your look and feel specifically. So you can also see photos that I got taken last year, and then I've just posted a photo that I got today from convention. So Java was saying, how do you build your business on a budget? If you're part of PSA, there are so many opportunities where you can get value. If you had been at convention, you would have had a free headshot taken. The photographer was there. I literally went, put on different outfits and got a lot of photos taken. She's giving us 50% of all of our photos. So see where there are opportunities for you to take photos. See if you also can't get personal brand shots taken with microphones, using props that you're using in your business specifically. Here are just some other action shots that I wanted to show you so you can see some of them are good quality. 3 of these photos are from professional photographers. One is a photographer that I hired. Others were photos that I got for free speaking at a paid or a free event. So if you are sometimes speaking at free events, that is the opportunities where you could actually tap into the resources of the people in the room. But in the same way, this photo at the top with the white jacket might not be the greatest quality, but that was at a paid keynote that I did at the beginning of the year. And I literally gave my cell phone to one of the people in the room and asked her to please take some photos for me. So always ensure that you give your phone to someone to take photos of you so that you get your photos taken. So what advice can I give for you that I used in starting my business? The Ikigai is an incredible tool. It's a Japanese concept, and Ikigai is all about finding work that you're really good at, that you have the skill for, that you love doing, but that what people are willing to pay you for as well. So you're going to do an entire exercise where you're brainstorming about all of these areas. And what I'd found in terms of my Ikigai, I realized that I really love coaching. I love mindset. I love the brain. I really love teaching people presentation skills, but also to get them to be confident. I also loved empowering people to overcome their fear of public speaking. So one-on-one work, but also groups. So that was one of the first programs that I developed, was a Power of Persuasion presentation bootcamp. And what I then did, and this is what I'm going to show you now, Debcon actually says, you need to look at who do you have in your contact base. So Debcon has a business, she's a consultant, and she recently did a webinar, and I've just put a few points for you that I really believe in. And this is what I also did, is go and make yourself a list and say, who may need what you've got to offer, and you could get meetings with if you asked. So literally first go take out an Excel sheet and go dump names and surnames of people that you know. You could open your LinkedIn, you could open your Facebook, you could go back to past emails, and this could be friends, family, acquaintances, people that you've worked with in your entire life. And now look at that and ask yourself, aren't there anyone at the companies you've worked with? So what I, for instance, did is I was actually messaging one of my previous bosses that created my first training position. And when I started my business in 2017, I immediately went and saw him and sold a Power of Persuasion bootcamp to his people because he had seen me do training. He'd created a position as a trainer for me. Why wouldn't he support me? He knew what I was about. And I know that I will sell future products to him as well. So are there any markets that you've worked in that could potentially need what you specifically have? So I looked at, for instance, I was selling advertising space for Entrepreneur magazine. I still had client lists of all of the heads of corporate accounts that we were selling to, that I could potentially go and pitch a solution to those people. Having worked at Autotrader, I had people give me referrals of car dealerships that were really struggling, and I got work giving sales training, coaching, leadership development for car dealerships and vereniging van der Bijl, different places where other people didn't want to do the work. So if you're willing to put in the effort and even travel far, and it's not just in a Lani suburb 5 kilometers from your house, you would probably be able to get more clients than other people, especially if you're starting out. So the second point that Deb says is, who may need what you have to offer, and you think you may be able to get a meeting with them. And then the third list is, who do you hope to work with? So this would be like your wish list. And then lastly, folks in your network that you know, but you're not sure if you could be able, if they would have helpful connections. So if you're looking at priority, first focus on 1 and 2, and then move to 3 and 4. If you're thinking of posting on LinkedIn, on your Facebook, I recently just decided to share a lot of what I do on my personal Facebook, because so few people would necessarily join your business Facebook page. But if they know what you do and you're very clear about what you do, they could open up doors for you. So a strategy that I've been using this last year is looking at, who do I have in my network? There's number 4. And I call them also your nest. So your nest is your family members, your friends. Can you compile an email introducing or what it is that you do, that if they wanted to introduce you to someone else, they could simply forward the email? So it could be something along the lines of, hi, Tyron, I know that we've known each other for so many years, but I've realized that my friends don't really know what I do. And you might know someone that could work with me or refer me to someone. So these are the 3 things I could help with. I help with public speaking skills, helping people lift up their confidence, and helping teams and leaders find their purpose, for instance. So can you find 3 things that you could put in that email and draft that and literally pull up an Excel list and tick down the names that you've sent it to? I've had so many people come back to me and say, wow, we never actually knew exactly what you did. We're going to refer you to these and these people. So make it easy for other people to refer you. Then I wanted to just share, I was doing last year for one of my old companies that I worked for. It was so interesting. I was also do a strategic selling course. And in 2018, when I spoke at Psasa Pretoria, I had met Taryn Lee for Sishi, and she then asked me to come and speak at Psasa Pretoria. After speaking and telling you guys about how to make the horse thirsty, it was all about influence and persuasion, Taryn Lee referred me to another lady that is actually based in Cape Town, Shirley Anderson. And Shirley has, throughout the years, referred so much business to me. And I remember the first business was literally a week after speaking at the PSA chapter. She said to me, Yoke, can you fly up to Stellenbosch? There's a team in the salt industry that I would love you to do sales training for. She actually provided me with her material because she wasn't available. And she said, Taryn Lee has sung all of your praises. I don't need any other referrals. So if you can speak in front of people that can potentially refer you, and if you can show them the evidence that you are really good, can open up doors. So in last year, November, the training that I did for Oxford was yet again business through Shirley Anderson. And it was a company that I worked with when I was 21 years old. And at that time, I think I was, like a student, and you're still partying until 3 in the morning, and then you have to go work. So your work ethics aren't so great. And I only ended up working for Oxford for a year. After that, my work experience, I stayed at companies for much longer. But what was very, very interesting is because I understood the publishing industry, having worked at Oxford and then having worked for Pearson for 4 years and understanding the entire curriculum process, I was the ideal person to offer that training, because it wasn't just the foundations that I'll quickly share with you, It was also understanding that industry. So my question to you is, can you go make a list of what type of industries have you worked in? And can you offer whatever it is that you are offering specifically to them, but because you understand what they do so very, very well, you'll be able to speak their language. So whether it's resilience training or like B is in communication, conflict, and humor, if you have been working in the mining industries or in construction or in very big bookstores, for instance, what language do they speak? And that will make a massive difference. So when I was doing the training for Oxford, I taught them about the 4 kind of buyers. And that's what I want you to think about the next time you're pitching, whether it's to an individual, SME, or corporate. Who is the economic buyer? The economic buyer is the person who is sitting with the budget. So if the budget sits with the CEO, the principal, the owner, what are the kind of problems that they would want to get solved? If you're speaking to them, you need to put yourself in the shoes of that economic buyer and not just speak about the features and benefits of your presentation skills course, but speak about the impact on their reputation and the impact on customer service if the staff can't speak well enough over the phone and if they don't actually get to the actual problem that the client is sitting with. So how can you speak in a way that it can actually show that it can have a bottom line impact or an impact on their reputation or an impact on them being more competitive or being more strategic? So always ask yourself, who is the economic buyer, and make sure that you meet with them yourself. Then you have some other buyers. You have the user buyers. So if we're thinking in terms of speakers, your user is the person that would sit in the audience. So let's say it's a corporate that's now booking you for training or speaking or coaching. It's the sales director who is the budget, or it's the CEO that has the budget. The user is literally that sales team that's going to be sitting in your training, or it's that leadership team that's sitting in the audience. So what are their problems? What are their needs, their dreams, their goals, their desires? Can you also speak towards that? You might not have a user specifically in your meeting, but you need to, in whatever you do, actually speak to both of those audiences. So you need to satisfy the economic buyer ultimately through your message, but also the user buyer. So I love the work of Alan Weiss, and the last year, actually more than a year, I've been part of a paid community of Leanne users in Australia. And we had the opportunity to have a session with Alan Weiss, and then I actually got to invite him to come and speak for us on behalf of PSA Johannesburg. I think it was the previous year, October. And Alan Weiss says, you need to make sure that sometimes it's not a popularity contest. The economic buyer is upset about certain things. Sometimes you need to actually irritate the audience to satisfy the economic buyer specifically. But you also need to look at what is really pain points and what is that audience struggling with to also meet their specific needs. Then you have the technical buyer. So very often we get so frustrated in South Africa. This could be the procurement department, or they would be people that would want to get 3 quotes, or they would want to know, can we get a testing of this? So sometimes in order to get buy-in at companies, what you need to do is make sure that you do showcases to technical buyers, or you need to find ways to show them that the product that you're offering is going to meet the requirements that they want. In South Africa, with BEE, Black Economic Empowerment, you would need to make sure that you are checking all of the boxes. I had to, for one of my smaller clients, go to the police station the other day to get my affidavit signed again. I didn't realize it expires every year, and it expired a month before that. So you need to make sure that you have all of your compliance things sorted out. So can you show evidence that you've done work before? Some corporates actually want referrals, testimonials. So when you compile a company profile, can you include testimonials specifically for the technical buyers so they can see other people like them have used you and have been happy? And then your final type of buyer is the coach. The coach is a person that is usually in the company. So they definitely have the need or the desire, but they can see that it will deliver and they will actually help you get the sale. So they're great for references, but you actually want to ask them, what do I need to do? Who are the right people? What would you recommend? When is the best time of day to meet with the CEO? What's really important for the CEO? So find your economic buyers, find your technical buyers, find your user buyers, and find your coaches. And the last thing I want to round off with, just a technique that I also teach on, is on the psychology of change. People are very comfortable, and people are usually in a positive frame of mind in the present. But what you need to do is you need to take them into the negative present and then into the negative future. So what you need to do is show them that by not making the change right now, how much are they losing out on? And in 12 months' time, if they haven't made that change, how much will that problem be costing the business? So I'll just quickly give you an example. So Jobu, this is a nice one for the car industry. So in the car industry, it would be really easy. You would say, for instance, if you were talking to a specific, let's say it's a specific salesperson that we're not talking to. And he's saying at the moment, he's only selling 5 cars, but he would like to sell 10. And you'll say, okay, so how much profit can you make per car? And he'll maybe say 10, let's say 10K. So at the moment, by not selling that 5 cars per month, you're losing out on 50,000, right? In 12 months' time, how much will that be? You literally calculate that. I'm not going to do that right now. Can someone quickly in the chat box say to me 50K times 12?
600.
How much is that? 600,000. Okay, so let's just say, okay, Tyron, so let's just say there's 12 salespeople. So 600 times 12 is?
7.2 million.
Okay. So Mr. Peterson, by not selling 5 cars more, each of your salespeople, you're losing out over the next year, or you've already lost out over the last year, 7.2 million of potential sales. Don't you think it would be worth your while in investing in a sales training course of 30,000 Rand? Quickly work out the return of investment on that. So 30,000 divided by 7.2 million times 100. Come mathematicians. Okay, so we don't have to have an answer. You can work it out on your own time. But take the person into a place where they stop being complacent. So you're literally taking them into the negative past and then into the negative future. And then you turn it into the positive future where you say, if you want to sell 5 more cars and you've done this investment, you can be making in the next year 7.2 million if every salesperson just sells 5 more cars every month. Wouldn't that be worth it? So guys, in a nutshell, why I'm here today is also to showcase, but to just in a nutshell say to you what I do at Y Connect, so that if you ever have clients that need this, or if you want to collaborate, or if you want to reach out, if you have any of these needs, what what I do at Y Connect is really create meaningful workspaces, and I help leaders and teams tap into their purpose. And how we do this is through cultivating a growth mindset. I help people build their confidence, find their flow, help them so that they can influence each other and outside of their business. And how we do it is in the 8 ways that you see on the outside areas. So through planning, problem solving, communication, time management, negotiation, self-actualization, emotional intelligence, and motivation. I have created a little coupon code for you. So if you go to the shop and you put PSA PTA for Pretoria, you will get 250 Rand off. There's a few downloadable products that you can get for free. And if you want to book a 15-minute catch-up call with me, I've opened up a few slots at the end of May because I'm going to be going to Greece next week. So if you want to chat to me, please reach out. There's a little coupon code for you. Thank you so much. And I hope that you can go and implement some of this, whether this is the psychology of change, whether it is the 4 economic buyers, whether it is building your credibility by tapping into the media, taking photos of everything that you do and getting headshots and photos taken at every single opportunity that you're speaking in front of an audience, whether it's virtual or in person. And I hope that in a few years' time, if you look back all of the years up to this point where we're at today, you'll be able to connect the dots and say, wow, that time that I attended that PSA Pretoria chapter is where I realized that I need to make use of the psychology of change, and it changed my life. Over to Jabulani.
Wow, Yoke, that was amazing. Guys, let's give Yoke a hand. That was amazing. So for now, Yoke, I want to find out from the guys, do you guys have any questions or any points of clarity that you'd like to maybe take up with Yoke? Or perhaps even if you've got a comment, that would be great. I just want to give a few of you at least an opportunity to do so. So does anybody have a question? Is my voice low?
Hi, Yoke, how are you?
Very good, very good. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for the invite. I have a question in terms of your presentation. And there was something that I picked up, especially with regards to, the sentiments of tonight's meeting, where you're like, some companies would like referrals, or they would like previous notions of your work. And it's like, well, that becomes a bit tricky if you're literally just starting out. So then how do you navigate with the whole point of you don't particularly have a track history at the moment?
So sometimes that means that you need to pilot some things where you could actually offer to do something for a company in return. So either at a reduced fee where you're going to get testimonials, photos, things like that. And so that's one of the ways. Otherwise, you could specifically reach out to some strategic friends that you know that are in business and say you're willing to do a shorter showcase, or maybe a module or an hour. So I've very often done that, where one of the wellness companies that I got into, I had to do like I actually gave them 3 hours for 10 of their salespeople for them to see that as a showcase. So specifically when you're starting out, it's not a bad idea to do some showcases. And a friend of mine, she did it in a very smart way. So she, Ronelle Yuster, it was, there's Nelson Mandela Day in South Africa every year. I'm not sure what the date is, but that's is it how many minutes? 66 minutes. Does anyone know how many minutes is it for charity that companies do? So, Jabu?
67 minutes.
67 minutes, right. So she did a clever campaign on LinkedIn where she said for the month of, or I think she literally opened it up and said for the following month on behalf of Nelson Mandela Day, she's offering 67 opportunities for companies for her to do a keynote. And she was extremely busy. I wouldn't encourage you to do so many because you will go out of your mind and it's going to cost you too much. But even if you offered maybe 6 or something like that, in a campaign, it's a restricted only for this period. And then you actually get photos, testimonials, whatever it might be. So then you actually include in the contract to say, I'm giving you this rate on a basis that I'm going to be getting reviews, testimonials. So maybe don't do it for free, but see if you could do it in a almost like a trade exchange way. I don't know if that can help you.
Yes, it does. It's actually amazing advice.
And can I ask you something else? Where have you spoken before? You might not have been paid, but it could have been in the work environment. Have you done presentations? And so what is it that you do? So just quickly tell me.
Well, I actually am hosting. So I switched careers last year. I'm currently the resident co-host for SAPIN, which is the South Africa's Properties Investors Network. Prior to that, I had done hosting events, but it was very casual, as in like, I would, shamelessly say that I wasn't really taking it seriously. So with that being said, I've done webinars, and then I've also done Topica. They had a summit for 3 days. I've also done, I was a panelist, what is it called? Facilitator or something? Like when
Yes.
you have a panelist.
So go back and contact all of those people that have ever been on a webinar of yours, that ever went to any of your events. See if you can't even write little testimonials on your own and send it to them and say, I'm busy building my credibility as a speaker and a trainer, and you had attended events at those and those webinars. Please would you mind writing something for me? Or I've taken the liberty of writing a short paragraph, maybe like 2 sentences, where you write about yourself in the third person and ask them if they're willing to edit it or approve it. And usually they'll just go with it and say, it's fine, you can use it on your website. So Nikki Bush even said to me, most of the CEOs that she does work with will never have the time to write anything for her. And she usually has to write it, and then they either edit it or they just approve it. So that's one of the ways. But go back to everything that you've ever done. And even if it was casual, if it was in front of an audience and people came and they attended, it's evidence that you've done it. Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. That was great, Yoke. We've got a question from Shishing Fong, and he says, or she says, I can't really see the picture very well here. Hi, Yoke. I have a questions about the speech. If you are about to deliver a speech for like 1 hour, would you usually write the script before then? Thank you.
Would you write the script?
Yeah, would you write the script for a 1 hour speech?
Yes. So, yes. Sure, I'm having a heart attack. So it's when you have much shorter time, so let's say 5 minutes. I know Gary Tintinger, sorry Gary, putting you on the spot again. He was just speaking in the Division H contest, and I believe that he won, and he's going through to district at Toastmasters. And what's really tricky with those speeches, it's like a TEDx, it's really short. It's shorter than a TEDx, because TEDx's can sometimes be 15 minutes and longer. But the thing is, if you have an entire audience listening to you, you want to make sure that you're actually working in various things. So you need to look at what emotions do you want to put in? What credibility do you want to build? Where do you want to go fast? Where do you want to go slow? There's so much of a craft in developing a presentation. You need to look at, so Ian did the thing with our whole slides at conference. I usually do Slido. For today, I decided I'm not going to do it. I just want to talk and actually give you as much as I can. But when you are doing a talk in front of an audience, you actually want to weave in interaction and engagement. So you want to make sure that you are not only speaking to the audience, but also listening to them. So people tend to zone out, and they say that, you know, people can make switches in their head if it's online every 8 minutes. So if you're thinking like a camera on television, you need to be really interesting. So you have to weave in contrast, whether it's the places you're going to stand on the stage, what you're going to do with your voice, the types of stories you're going to tell, you know, the opening, the close, the middle. Like there's so much to it. You must definitely not wing it. And the more you do it, once you've actually crafted it, you shouldn't actually start with the slides. You must actually start with, what are the core messages? What do I want people to take away? Build it, and only from there decide if you're even going to use slides or props or whatever it is going to be. So I actually have an entire 5-week boot camp plus an extra week that I do coaching with people to help them develop their presentation. So if you need help with that, schedule that 15-minute with me end of the month of May, and maybe we can chat to one-on-one help you with that. But I would definitely say it starts with actually, what is the outcome I want the person to have? What is the experience? What do all of the buyers need? And how am I going to insert everything that I need to give them that experience? And then afterwards, what are they going to get? So I did a keynote in February at an event, and Yoke gave me an amazing tip. He said, don't just sell them the keynote, sell them a 6-week implementation program. So I went a bit crazy then with the implementation program. I literally created editable workbooks for them where I broke the keynote into segments for every week that they could do with their teams. And it was exercises, it was referring to resources on my website, it had links to podcast videos. So it was so much deeper than just what they listened to. So what you'll find is you're going to walk away here today, and within a day, you'll probably only remember 5% of what I said. But if you go to my website and let's say you go and download the what to do before, during, and after a sales meeting, and let's say then you get onto my email list, and then I send you little bits and reminders, and you start actioning every week, something, then you actually start seeing changes and impact. So as a speaker, you actually want to look at, you're there and you're creating an epic experience, but what are you giving people to do afterwards? And what are they going to remember 3 days later? So if you don't design it from the beginning in that way, it's going to be like a motivational roadshow where they say, oh, it was amazing, and then like nothing happens. You don't want that. You want them to go and implement at least one thing. So I'm going to challenge you to type for me in the chat box, what is one thing you want to do from my talk? What are you going to do after today? Because if you're not going to choose to do something, then you've wasted your time.
Awesome.
So pick one thing that you want to do and put it into the chat box. Right, cool.
Fantastic, Yoka. Thank you so much for such incredible value. Really appreciate it. Guys, do take up Yoka on all the offers that she has given. She is definitely worth what she says she is. So what I'm going to do now, guys, we're going to take a 5-minute break, maybe just to stretch our legs, and then we'll come back. And I will skip on what I saw that Yoka has already said, and just go straight into what I think you can really get done. I see also on the chat box, Psasa saying, make a list of clients and industries I have worked with before. Yes, that's fantastic. All right. So a lot of incredible value. There she has dropped her link there in the chat box. Click on that, and then yeah, of course, let's go ahead. So guys, let's take a quick 5-minute break. Let's find our way back here at least before, let's say around 12, 13, 15, quarter past. Yeah, let's be back. Let's be back around 12 minutes, 12 past. 5 minutes might be too short. Let's take a little break and then we'll come back and then just finish up here. Thank you so much. All right, guys, I know you can hear me wherever you are now. So let's start making our way back, and so that we can be ready to wrap it up for the evening. Let's just make your way back, and then maybe give an indication once you're back, just opening up your camera just for a quick second. So at least I can know if you're comfortable doing that you are now back.
Just so we can see that most of them are humans and not everyone is a bot.
Exactly. I like Neville. Look at it. It's like he's cruising somewhere. It's a cool background there. Wow.
I say I got a jacket on. It's cold here.
Yeah, it's a bit chilly out here, man. It's a bit chilly. Yes.
Camera on. Hi, everybody. Camera off because it's up.
Okay. Great. I think quite a lot of you are back already. All right. Super. Let me sort out my view. Okay. All right, so I'll start, but then just start with my presentation. Let me quickly just open up and share a screen here. Yeah, I'll quickly just skip on to quite a lot that I got that Yoke has already shared. So can you guys then see the screen? All right.
I love the picture.
Yes, I try to be funny sometimes. Pure Moyo said to me, I'm not a funny guy. So you must see this picture now and tell me how he feels about that. All right. Now, oops. How do you start your business on a budget? And now I walked into PSASA somewhere around 2019 in April. I can remember very well at the time, the boom shakalaka Terran Lee was there with all his energy, and the place was packed, and I didn't know. A friend of mine, Dr. Nico de Klerk, actually walked me into PSASA, and I was actually shocked at what the possibilities were out there. But just to give you a little bit of an indication of who I am as well as Jabu Zwane, we'll start off by saying, since I've walked into that room in 2019 in April, this is who I have become: a speaker, a coach, a facilitator, and a thought leader. And these are some of what has happened so far. Well, the 15 countries, quite a lot of them actually were before I became a speaker, because I was doing as a pastor. But as a speaker, since I walked into 2019, I've spoken in South Africa, in Zimbabwe, in Namibia, in the United States of America. I've done virtual work for Pakistani company. I've done virtual work for Australian company. So, and all of it started similarly to what Yoke has said. A lot of my work were kicked off by walking into that room, and Terran Lee actually, just like she hooked you up, Yoka, she hooked me up with BIC, with the marketing team of the big, the pen company in South Africa. Then I got to do my first training there, and I did exactly what you said, Yoka. You'd be very proud of me. I started taking photos and putting them up on the social media, and the next thing you know, there was quite a lot of interest as that happened. All right. Now, and then thereafter, this is what has also happened. I did my first international facilitation in Manhattan, New York, later on that year. But this is what you may not know about me. This is actually a picture of my hometown in Talendli, and right there, literally, that's the whole town. This is the little footpath I used to walk into school, about 5 or 6 kilometers. The reason why I mention this town is that, and I mention this is because sometimes when maybe you're there, you're listening, and then you're thinking to yourself, my goodness, how these guys must be city people, they must have connections. How the heck in the world did they get it done? No, I didn't know anybody. Although I may have the initials Jay-Z, I definitely don't have the surname. So some of us have to really do a lot of hard work to get it out there. That's where I'm from. Poverty-wise, this is how I grew up. This is the kind of games that I grew up. This boy, actually, the reason why I have this picture is because when I looked at my pictures as a little boy, he looks very similar to the way that I looked as a kid. I left that small town, coming to Joburg on a one-way ticket, never to come back. That was back in 1998. Came to South Africa, came to Joburg, was totally overwhelmed, thinking, man, what am I going to do here at the big city? My first job was in 1999. At the time that I got my first job, I was homeless. And this is actually the inside, similar to a building that I lived in, an abandoned building that I lived in Alexandra. Sorry, she was in Marlborough, just the street there bordering Alexandra, those abandoned building, I lived in there. I used to fear that the guys would come and rob me, but then I remembered I've got absolutely nothing for them to rob, and I'll just chuckle by myself at night, all scared with the broken windows. So, street vendor, I've been a waiter, I've been a cleaner, and the longest that I've actually been hungry for, without any food, on the street looking for work, was a full 4 days. Fast forward, since I walked into PSA, these are all the companies that I've done work for. And currently, I'm a lead specialist trainer and for BMW South Africa as effective communication specialist and emotional intelligence. For Sewells, I also do leadership for them, which has positioned me as the leader, as a leadership trainer for VW South Africa, for McCarthy Group, and also for Super Group. And right now, or since then, I've also founded the Mindset Development Institute, which is an institute that specializes specifically in helping companies to create critical thinking frameworks along leadership, effective communication, emotional intelligence, high performance, and entrepreneurship. And at this particular moment, since back then, I've also become an executive member of the Lenses Group, which is a US-based company that specializes in diversity inclusion. And through the work that I've done, one client of mine actually decided to partner up with me. And now I am actually a director and a shareholder in a multi-platform property tech company that is called Square Feet. Actually, that's how I got to know Kali early on when she asked the question. The company she MCs for, Sapin, is one of the groups that this company actually is currently, it's part of the group of companies that is there. And all of that happened for me since 2019, since I walked into PSA. And this is how all of that happened. Oh, sorry, before I go there, at the moment, I need you to pray for me. Pepsi USA, especially the East Coast side where they do franchises, one of the head of HR approached me because they're currently looking for global executive coaches. And they saw my work, they were very impressed, and they decided, hey, listen, submit your stuff and see if you also, if you can qualify to be one of our coaches. So I'm waiting for an answer from them. So please do pray for those of you who pray, and hold your thumbs and do whatever you need to get done. All right. So how did I get it done? These are these very simple steps that I want you to think about. The first thing is connect. This is how you connect. I have this model that I have, connecting with sheep. What are sheep? Sheep are the people who just would follow you. People who just would believe in what you have to say, because sometimes you need people that are just going to give you a little bit of love, a little bit of praise, a little bit of adoration. Number two goes, these are people who have potential, clients that have potential to be your clients, but they may not necessarily have potential right now. And for somebody that said earlier on, how do I get myself started? This is actually where, for me, I actually do a lot of my work for free to test out some of my ideas to see whether or not they're going to work. Lions are peers. Connect and collaborate with your peers. And then elephants, these are the industry leaders. When I started out through PSA, I got an opportunity to speak to Carl Schulz, and Carl is a former national president of PSA, who then connected me to Steph du Plessis, and I got to sit down with Steph du Plessis, who's one of the kind of leading trainers in the country. And I also got to meet with somebody that really changed the game for me. Was Kali. Kali is a friend. He used to be in PSSA. I don't know if he still is right now, but he was very active in speaking, and he literally taught me pretty much everything that I applied since then. Offer value. I know you are currently, for many of us, we are hungry, we're starting out, we think we need money, but if you offer value, value attracts value. Offer value because value attracts value. Next step, get speaking. If you're not getting invited, create your own speaking engagements. I created my own speaking engagements, and I continue to create my own speaking engagements by connecting, collaborating with some people who are not even in speaking, but maybe they're industry leaders or they're experts, and I give them an opportunity to come and talk about whatever service they have. I remember I hosted an event for a tax expert, and I advertised that, and guys wanted to come through and learn about tax, and then I got an opportunity to speak, he got an opportunity to speak, and then through that, he also was able to refer me to some financial institutions. Document and publish. Yoke talked about that a little bit. Document your work and publish it. Be on as many platforms as possibly can in the beginning. Eventually, you'll find niche. Now, I only advertise and put up my work on LinkedIn. I've got a Facebook page that is very active. Since then, I think it's now gathered about 3,000 followers. My own private page is also quite active, and I do some posts on Instagram. But I found that YouTube takes too much of my time, and because I don't have a team that can be able to do all of the videos, I don't do that. Find, testing, and proving audiences. Find, testing, and proving audiences. So look out for opportunities where you can find yourself speaking, where you don't have to worry about actually delivering at such a high level, because you can then build up your confidence and perfect your craft. Create events I've mentioned, collaborate, and grow. I've got a rigorous schedule of learning and growing. You know, now that I found out about, for example, a person like Ian, I'm stalking him online. He doesn't even know. I'm like checking him out, I'm watching videos. I'm learning from the people that know what's going on in the industry, and they've done the work that they need to get done. Right? And the other thing is content. Find multiple ways to capture content. There are, for example, I use Autotrader. The paid version is a bit expensive, about 200 and something rand, but through Autotrader I get audio. It also prints out it also scripts out, writes out my content, so I can just copy and paste a lot of the stuff that I say that are amazing when I'm doing certain things, and I don't have to always think about putting up what I'm going to put up online. Find the topics that are relevant to what you're talking about. Find out if there aren't any groups online that specialize in that, whether it be on LinkedIn, whether it be on Facebook, whether it be on WhatsApp. Put yourself in there and learn how other people are doing, and connect. As far as your pricing is concerned, you know, don't do this thing like I did before in the beginning, where I was very shy about my price and I was giving up low, until I saw something. There was a very consistent response from most of my clients. They would say, "Oh, is that all?" And I realized, oh my goodness, similar to what Yoke had, I'm pitching my price a bit too low. So in terms of a pricing, you need to test it out. Somebody said to me once that if you have clients that pay, let's say 5 clients that pay the same price for the same thing, there's still a bit of gap for you to increase that. So I try to apply that model. Infrastructure wise, if you can, invest in a very good phone, because the good phone can be able to record high quality audio, can also be able to record high quality video. I'll show you an app that I use for a lot of my videos, which is quite easy to use. Get lapel mics. I've got several ones. There's one by Boya. I think it's about 250. I wish I had my. I'll show you. I'll show you the picture a bit later on. And what else is there? And then of course, as opposed to struggling, for example, I mean, and I've seen so many speakers struggling with the issues of laptops and stuff like that. Put money on the side to, you know, at least get some of those high quality things like a laptop. If you've got a good laptop, if you've got a good phone, if you've got 1 or 2 or 3 different good mics, I mean, I think for the most part, for your virtual work, you're good to go. All right. And then, of course, be on as many platforms as you possibly can that talk about the topics that you are specializing in, and find your connections from there. It has worked tremendously for me. It works extremely, extremely well, to the point that right now, through this, a bunch of us are planning a massive entrepreneurial seminar that's going to be happening in December. And we're going to be combining all of our efforts, all of our resources to market that and to find a good venue and to make sure that we've got speakers that we are able to pay, as we also are marketing the product, and people are going to be paying for that. So, and I think it's going to be probably one of the biggest events that I would have personally pulled with other people who are like-minded. All right. Now, here's a quick other thing that I want you to think about. One of the things that I realized very quickly when I started talking professionally, moving in from being a pastor, I realized that in terms of my abilities, I needed to streamline them. One of the challenges for me being a pastor is that I used to do free flow when I didn't have a strict as far as time and actually delivery of a specific topic was concerned. So if you're starting out, make 100% sure that you develop as many communication abilities as you possibly can. Develop your ability to do a lot, capacity, that's how much. This is the model that I use, by the way, as in some of my mindset development courses. It's a very simple model that I use, that I populate. I've got worksheets and I've got different Excel sheets that I give people to fill out. Identify the abilities you need to have. Find a way to measure your capacity and actually start working on increasing your capacity, improving your competences. That has to do with improving your skills as far as, of course, communication, as far as the how well you know your topic. And then fitness-wise, I found that it's extremely important for me to make sure that my energy is up to par. Endurance is about patience. Flexibility is about being able to work under pressure. And agility is being able to find a way to deal with emergencies that come up. When COVID hit, one of the things that I did is that I moved to the USA. I moved to the USA for some time, and I did quite a lot of my work from that side, even though it wasn't paid work. But I understood something, guys. I understood something that as a South African, I've got access to the US market, and also understood that in terms of the hierarchy of credibility and power, the USA is at the top. And I really understood that if I did work when I'm over there and I start to advertise the work from that side, when I come back here, I'm going to have more work. And you know what? When I came back 9 months later and I landed on South Africa, I had 200,000 rands worth of work, which I was able to do in 2 months coming back from the United States. Why am I saying that? I'm saying that for you as a South African right now, you've got access to many different these markets that are up there, Europe, United States, Australia. When you're moving there, like I'm going again in between July and August, and I already have talks lined up with some of the friends that I've connected. Quite a few of them are not paid up. Quite a few of them are paid. But you know what? When I get there, I'm going to do what Yoke has already said. I'm going to be capturing the moment. I'm going to be publishing. I'm going to be doing as much advertisement as possibly can of those events, because I understand that as far as the hierarchy of credibility is concerned, it's not my law. I didn't write that down, but this is what is true. The USA is right at the top. And I found that the moment that I say that I've done work in the United States, which I have, most companies don't even bother to know a bit more. They don't even bother to know more about what I can do. They just give me the job. Okay. And agility is about so adaptability is about, of course, adapting to the fast changing pace. All right. Now, these are, as you can already see, these are physical traits, or these are physical things that you can do to improve your performance as a speaker and to ensure that you at least have the ability to do the work that you're supposed to do. But I found that my biggest challenge was on these five points, and these tend to be then invisible. Confidence, guys. Yoke mentioned it earlier on. One of the things that I felt when I came, I felt very small. I felt very small because everybody was talking very big. And I look at everybody and I think to myself, my goodness, when in the world am I going to ever get to that particular point? And my confidence levels were very low. And you may be sitting there right now, perhaps you've been in for a long time, but maybe you're new, like some of you I know that I knew, and you're thinking, how the heck in the world am I going to get to that point? The starting point is that it's confidence. You may have all of the traits of high performance as you can, as far as your IQ, as far as your technical skills are concerned, as far as your area of expertise is concerned. But for as long as you don't have a strong belief in yourself, all of that is not going to do you very much value. It's not going to help you too much. Strong confidence in yourself and strong confidence in what you're doing. The second thing is about your character, and the character is about dependability, guys. All right, if you're collaborating with people, come through. Don't drop people in the last minute. If you make a commitment to speak on at a free gig, if you're starting out, don't drop the guys. If you make a commitment, stick to your commitment and come through for people, because that builds your credibility, that builds your character, that builds your dependability. And I found that being dependable is a very important trait that actually built my currency of credibility as a speaker. And the third thing was about courage. And courage is the fact that this is a scary, massive world, because you're putting yourself in front of people who are going to be judging what you're saying and actually determining whether or not it was valuable, whether it be through feedback, whether it be through the money that they give you, whether it be through a lack of response to your speech and nobody says that it was amazing or it was poor or it was great. That stuff can, man, it can take down, honestly, it can kill your confidence. So you need to be courageous at some point. You need to face the fear and stand up and get it done. Consistency is about three things for me. Practice all the activities that you need to be good at. I do quite a lot of practicing of my speaking. I'm sure for some of you that may know me from back then, you can already tell that there's a distinct difference, or maybe I'd hope that you can see there's an improvement from the way that I used to speak when I first walked into PSA SA in the way that I speak now. Back then, I used to be so concerned about what people and how they think and what they think about the way that I speak. I don't worry about that anymore. My main focus is how do I deliver what I want to say, the way that I want to say it, for the purpose that I want to say it, with the kind of energy that I want, and with the kind of, and being able to create the emotional experience that Yoke spoke about, the way that I want it for that particular purpose. And you can only be able to do that if you're consistent, because consistency builds for you credibility, your own self-credibility. It's like a collection of your own portfolio of evidence, and you can see where you have lost. You can see where you're losing, you can see where you're winning. Where you're winning, you can duplicate. Where you're losing, you can improve. The challenge with being inconsistent is that you can never identify the gaps of your growth. But when you're consistent, you're able to identify those particular gaps, and you can actually then be able to come to the next point, which is about being creative. Because you can be consistent, but you can stagnate if you're not coming up with anything new. And I find that it's very difficult for me to be creative if I'm not consistent, if I haven't built a very strong framework of confidence in what I'm doing. Creativity also doesn't come for me. All right. Okay, here is what I'm currently doing. I'm currently crafting a keynote specifically for clients that I've identified. For example, I used to work at Outsurance. I've crafted a specific keynote for Outsurance and for insurance companies because I understand the language. And I'm going to be pitching that. I already have sent out connections, and in fact, Outsurance has already come back to me to say the next time that they have an event, they'll also consider me. But you know what? I'm not going to keep it there. I'm going to keep bugging them until they hear me out. And I'm also doing specific proposals for specific brands. I did a bit of work recently with the McCarthy Group because I was able to connect so well with the CEO, and I did exactly what Yoke mentioned earlier on. In my keynote, I started to really emphasize the importance of effective communication, or of the guys who are selling being effective communicators, and especially integrating the changing landscape of communication because of COVID-19, because of the impact of COVID-19. And they said to me, you know what, Jabu, we think what you're talking about might work. How about you submit a proposal to us? And then it gave me an idea that actually from now on going forward, I'm going to have that as one of my key focuses, and find a way that once I've done a keynote, once I've done a facilitation, that I'm able to continue the work. And in short, guys, that's pretty much what I wanted to share with you all. So with all of that being said, if you have any questions, you can throw them at me. But I also would like to invite Ian to, if he's still on the line, to give us his thoughts.
Jabu, so I loved what you were saying about doing work. So you literally went and lived in America, and
Yes.
then were offering to do work of people. That is epic. Love that.
It worked out. It worked incredible for me. I mean, I promise you, by the time I leaned back and I say, man, I had so much work, it was crazy. And that work was what I was able to put together to build a credibility. Sorry guys, in terms of the apps, I wanted to show you this. I'm sorry, quickly, before Ian gets to be with us. I wanted to show you this quickly. Give me a second. All right, I use Canva to the max, and I know that Taryn also uses Canva. Canva, the pro version for me, it's I think right now it's about 130 Rand. Okay, now let's look at what I've done with it. This is my profile. I've created this on Canva, and what I like about this particular profile is that with Canva, I'm able to create a website that people can be able to go and look. You can send them that link, or you can create a QR code which you can be able to put up on your business card, and you can also be able to do presentations and record them as if you are running them from Zoom. All right. And what I like also about this as well is that along with this presentation of mine, if I gave somebody a link, I can also be able, at the end of my presentation or my profile, they can be able to play a short video that I put together that tells them what I do.
Oh, wow.
I'm not gonna do that right now, but this is what I do here. And then it tells
build in our
tells them what I
minds.
do.
I'm
It's powerful. Okay, I'll move on from that one. And then the next one, I also use Canva to create my, for branding and for quality of communication with emails. This is my email signature for my, for the Mindset Development Institute. I created this on Canva. And I don't think you need a paid version for this particular one. You can actually do it for free. This is for my Jabuzwani email, for my own personal brand. That's for the institution. This is for my own personal brand. I use that as an email cover from Canva. All right, I can give you a very simple, basic tutorials on that if you want. No problem at all. Just give me a shout. This is my one pager, also from Canva. I can do this, download this as a PDF. I can do it as a picture. All right, and then I've also got here, let me get that out. This is the proposal or part of the proposal that I submitted to Pepsi, okay, from Canva as well, where they wanted to know a bit more about the coaching program, that the methods that I use. And as you can see, I mean, the graphics and everything like that is good. And one of the reasons why I became good at it is because I went online. YouTube has got free lessons, and Canva itself has got free lessons that you can learn how to do this. As you can see here, this is, I mean, you don't have to pay a lot of money for that. You can sit down, maybe take a day out, sit, learn the videos, go on YouTube, get to find out how you can use Canva, especially if you've got time on your hands and you don't have work. So whenever I'm not working, that's what I'm doing all the time. I use the same Canva to create my courses. All right, check it out here. This is one of the courses that I'm going to be presenting soon, and which I now started selling to people. And this is called the Articulate Communicator. What I love about Canva is that you can do all of these cool things. Look at that. Describing the entire model and modules and everything like that. And the graphics are there, guys, and they're free. Hey, all of these graphics that you see there that you may think, oh wow, those are amazing, they look good. All of that is free. This is what I use Canva again for the for my pricing on my coaching. Okay, So let me quickly just scroll down here. So I use this to look like, to look professional, and also to show that what I'm coming to deliver is going to be very good. And then this is the same Canva where I also use, this is one of my, the models that I use, which is quite intense. I know it looks like, wow, what the heck is going on there? But this is the mindset development model. This is one of the mindset development models that I use to, to develop courses. I use it mainly to develop courses for those leaderships and for effective communication and things like that. But anyway, with that being said, guys, I think, you can see, I'm a big Canva fan. So thank you so much for that.
Can I add something, Jobu? I also love Canva, but your things looks amazing, I have to say. But what is also quite beneficial, what I learned is a lot of designers, you could actually get them to design templates for you in your Canva that you can then just go and edit. So if you have a bit of budget to get a designer that could, create templates for you, whether it is for your LinkedIn post or your YouTube post or whatever it might be, you could actually import your CI. So your specific colors, your specific fonts, so that you make sure you're really on brand. And that's really amazing. So I've done some of that. Yeah.
Oh,
and you can do your certificates as well.
Yes. So, there's so much on Canva, guys.
Crazy.
So much. And then of course, just look out, there's so many free, good apps out there. I use a lot of InShot. It's a paid version. InShot is called INSHOT, InShot, for quick mobile videos that can retain the 4K quality, but it mustn't be too big. If you want to do some of those like 1 minute, 2 minute high quality videos that you want to send out, you can use InShot is one of the ones that I use as well. All right. So if there are any questions, please go ahead and shoot. But Ian, yes, InShot.com. Ian, is Ian Hutting still on with us?
I am indeed.
All right, sir.
So just a couple of comments. The one, Job, you mentioned the Boya microphone. I put the link into the chat. 223 rands on Take-A-Lot. So really straightforward, and it works very well. I use it even with quite a good camera, but you can use it with just about anything. So that seems to work quite well. And then the comment that you made about working internationally and the appeal of South Africans internationally. I was once speaking to a global speaker, and I said to her, how do I become a global speaker? And she said this. She said, you need three things. You need, I wonder if I can be spotlighted. Is that possible? Tyron? There we go. Thank you very much. So she said you need three things. She said, number one, you need to be really competent. Number two, you need to be really confident. And number three, you need an accent. And yes. and this is the thing. We think we're supposed to suddenly speak American English or British English to be accepted globally. The opposite is true. They're looking for someone who sounds unique. They're looking for somebody who sounds different from what they are used to. And you think about it, we have somebody from the Czech Republic in South Africa, and next thing we just immediately assume that they're experts because they're speaking with an accent. And so it's the same for us when we go global, we get respected for being able to speak with an accent. That's part of the job. So yeah, you've got to be competent and confident, but you need an accent. It's that simple. And all of us South Africans have an accent, although mine is apparently called international English. I keep hearing from people. Okay, so that's the second thing. Then there was the third thing I wanted to share, and I can't remember what it was. It related to something that both you and Yoke spoke about. Now I suddenly can't remember. What was it about? It was about leveraging events. So I want to just also jump in on that. So I also spoke at the convention, and my talk was very well received, and many of you know I won an award while I was there as well. inducted into the Educators Hall of Fame. And yeah, I keep it handy, just in case I need to brag. It's here, So yeah, but what's really interesting was how to leverage. So I took a lot of photos myself, but we had a photographer there. I got my one free photo, which is brilliant. It's absolutely stunning. But I then went and selected another 20. And the 20 photos was, from the evening event, from the award, from my speech, from my acceptance speech, from all over, 20 different photos. They had a special deal that your 20 photos were 1,500 rands. 1,500 rands for your 20 photos, except we had a 50% discount. So 750 rands. And I've got pictures of me with a microphone, pictures with a standing ovation, pictures of, me on stage. I mean, pictures interacting with the audience. 750 rands. I mean, you can't do that with a photographer. So, really, it's amazing what you can do when you leverage the events you are going to. And I just wanted to reinforce that. So thanks, Jabu and Yoke. I completely agree with both of you.
Ian, can I add something? What I loved from your presentation that you did at convention. So for everyone else's benefit, Ian did a whole demonstration of interactivity using our slides. And have you pulled any of that data in terms of what people put in? Because if you listen to the audience, you could actually sell product to that audience based on the data and use it again.
Well, if you like, I can show everybody.
Yes, do.
So let me just go there. I've got it open here somewhere. Let me just quickly go there. It won't take me long. Slides. And go to the PSA presentation. Because I did a follow-up session on Monday evening for the guys. So just to give you a bit of an idea.
Of where? Of virtual chapter or who?
No, the people who responded. I created a group and we did a session on Monday evening. So, okay, so let me just share screen. And just to give you an idea of what came out when we did the, some of the questions I asked. I said, what are the advantages of high levels of connection and participation increases in? And here I've got the different percentage responses. Listening to your clients came out as the #1 reason that we should have lots of interaction in our presentations. Audience engagement came out second, and your own energy came out third. And I thought that was fascinating because I know it's true for me. The more feedback I'm getting from my audience, the more my energy goes up. But you can see these are the kind of statistics that you get when you are, using some interactive tool. So, and I can go on to show you. Here's another one. I said, what's the main space you would like more engagement? Is it in hybrid, virtual, or in-person events? And hybrid won by far. People wanted to be able to know, how do I have engagement when I have people physically in front of me and people who are joining us virtually? And a product like AHA Slides actually does that. So, that's just another example of some of these sort of statistics that I got from the audience. And then I just showed a whole lot of variety. And then we played a little thing where we said, of all the organizers, you see Jabu's name is there, Tyron and Taryn Lee and so on. And then we actually spin it around and see, okay, so who deserves a hug? And it'll come up. So, these are the kind of interactive tools that are available. And yes, Yoko, I can download in, got Richard again. And, I can download all the stuff, all of the answers to these different polls and things into a spreadsheet, and I can then use that data. This one was perhaps one of the most fascinating ones, where I asked, where does your income come from? And it's on a scale of 1 to 5. And you watch the blue one. The blue one is where people say keynote. So a lot of people scored it a 1 or a 2. Very, very low. But a couple of people did score it as a 5. That's where they get their main income. So very, very interesting sort of statistics. And you could be asking anything. You could be asking a leadership question. In fact, I'm going to show you one I did last year. I'm going to stop presenting this and I'm going to switch to a different deck. I did a presentation for the Marketing Society of Kenya, and it was on conscious leadership in marketing. And I want to show you one of their slides. It was this one. I'll just put it into present mode so it's a bit bigger. And I asked this question: what do you wish leaders were more conscious about? Look what's right in the middle that came up as the biggest one: mental health. How fascinating is that? Isn't that an interesting statistic that in a room, well, there were about 100 people physically there and about 50 that came in via Zoom. So about 150 people, they said they wish their leaders were more conscious about mental health. I mean, isn't that just fascinating? The statistics you can get when you make your presentations interactive. Empathy came up, motivation came up, soft skills came up, these kinds of things. So I'm not going to belabor the point. I'm going to stop sharing there, but I think that answers kind of, Yoke, what you were asking.
Yeah, because at the convention with Graham's presentation, I think one of the main things that came out was we need to listen to our clients.
Right.
And that's what you're doing. And then you can actually develop products based on mental health or whatever is a really big hotspot and base it on that versus building something that they don't want. Excellent.
Exactly. I mean, that mental health one blew me away because I wasn't expecting it at all. But this was, I think Kenya was just coming out of their third lockdown or fourth lockdown at the time. And they said the leaders are totally ignorant of what's going on with their people.
Stunning.
Wow. Thanks a lot,
Ian.
Wow.
So something else I just want to add is what you did by taking your on-stage presentation and turning it into the group thing that we had was also leveraging the event. If you wanted to give a course on doing this kind of stuff, you could have turned that into income as well. So that's another way that you leveraged an event that you spoke at.
I'd pay for that.
Yeah, so Tyra, it's so funny you say that. I mean, I've done quite a lot of presentations and speaking and keynotes and stuff, and it was the first time I'd ever had my audience audibly gasp. Was in the keynote I did on the Sunday morning at the convention, and it was this. I had a slide came up on their phones, which had the link to directly WhatsApp me. And they clicked on that link and then they WhatsApped. When they realized they could do that, there was this audible gasp. And then somebody actually shouted out something like, clever stuff or something like that. But it was really interesting. And it was from that those people, there were 20 people who responded to me. I then made a WhatsApp group out of those 20 people. And we've been interacting, and we did a session on Monday night as a follow-on. So yeah, I could have used that as a sales opportunity. I didn't want to in this particular case, but I could have otherwise used that as a sales opportunity. I'm working on something at the moment. We're also using AHA slides. My next keynote, I'm busy building, the final stages of building a leadership assessment, a conscious leadership assessment, a conscious leadership strengths assessment. And I'm going to be doing it exactly the same way. So when they reach that point in the slides, they've already been interacting with me. They click on something on their phone, and it gives them a link to be able to do this assessment. And then that, of course, gives me their data. And then possibly I can see, oh, here's some of your areas where you need improvement, and I can help you in your leadership and so on.
Man, that's a lot of, that is a lot of value. Wow.
I have something.
Sure. Yes,
I have something. Good evening, everyone.
Yes. Go
May
ahead.
I say
Yes,
something?
Yes, you
Okay,
may.
thank you so much. This is Debcon from Bloemfontein. I'm really very grateful for this meeting. Thank you, Yoka, for bringing it to my attention. I'm really, really very blown away. Thank you so much, Yoka and Yabu, for your generosity in sharing with us, some of us that are just launching out. Yes, just a quick one. I'm just planning to launch out actually in May, because May is my birthday month and May is Mother's Month, and I'm very passionate about mothers. So my major speaking area right now is actually in Master of Ceremony, but I'm very passionate about parenting, and I've been doing a WhatsApp broadcast group with some women here. So I want to ask, is it very necessary to start up a website at the very beginning? Because so I got an advice to rather use Google My Business but I was also like, so that I can get like a domain name for my email. And yeah, so I just wanted to know, what do you think is the better way to go about starting up really very fresh, the way I've given it to you now? And I don't have lots of content, but I am very into master of ceremony, but I have an eye for doing presentations about parenting and embracing yourself, being being aware of your call and stepping out, especially for moms that kind of put themselves in the background in their journey of motherhood, just to say that we are not created for just being married and being mothers. There is always a call for everyone. And I'm very particular about the mental health of mothers. I have a qualification in life coaching, but I don't have content prepared already. So in this May, I plan to have a May challenge to boost my consistency, where I will post a video on Facebook every day throughout the month of May. So my plan is to, like, now, and I'm happy that the pictures are here. I want to use them to set up my LinkedIn platform. And so my plan is to launch it on a Facebook page. My personal Facebook page is there, but I plan to have my professional Facebook page. Then there's also the LinkedIn. So I needed to get that domain, So I don't know what you advise there.
Okay. Taryn, you're here, right? Taryn Lee, boom chagalaga.
Can I quickly
Yes,
jump
I'm
in?
here.
And sorry.
Yeah.
No, Yoke, you jump in first. Oh,
Okay. Njideka, you don't need to have a website to start making money. So my personal opinion, because things might still change, you might still change your, like, as you're doing research, you might change your ideas in terms of what you want to call the business or whatever. But like, what I would say is try to nail down. So you're saying that it's for mothers. So try to nail down who that target audience is, and try to, so I'll I actually forgot to tell you about this. I'll just find a link. There's a company called Strategizer, and they have the value proposition canvas and the business model canvas. And if you can go and map out your business on one page and map out your clients in terms of what are their pain points, what are those mothers struggling with? So maybe right now you could do a bit of, I call it a listening tour, inviting those people to have even a phone call or a Zoom with you for 15, 20 minutes and ask them, what are you not finding easy as a mother right now, specifically in the areas that you want to focus in? Try to see what are the recurring things that are coming up. What are your dreams and desires? What would you want more of? And start seeing, is there anything of those things that you could help people with? So then I would literally go and take all of those problems and desires and start putting either products together, or to say, I can help solve these problems in these ways. So whether it's one-on-one speaking, keynoting, training, actually, like Jobu was saying, do go on canva.com. Even if you go on the free one, there's some really nice pitch decks there. So there's a pitch deck which shares like the problems, the solutions. Even if you use these and decide, I like these colors, you go change the colors and you just put the wording in there, add your photos. So just start in that way. You could download that document, put it on your LinkedIn, create little posts speaking about those specific things. So when people know these are the problems that I help solve, or these are the things that I can help you grow towards, then they'll buy either. People are motivated either by moving away from fire or towards what they want. So you need to get that. So I would say do a bit of market research, find out from these people, what are their dreams and desires, have some phone calls, have some Zooms, and just put documents together that you can then, like, even without having a website, you can already make money. Like, honestly, later on, you can do the website.
Yeah.
That's just my 5 cents.
Otherwise, if it makes you feel more, otherwise if it makes you feel more comfortable, and you want a website, there's a website place called wix.com, wix.com. It can be your mock-up the website for now until you have the money and the funds and the resources and also the knowledge of where you want to go and what you want to niche in to build an actual credible website. So if it's going to make you feel comfortable, because remember, again, what Java spoke about, confidence, character, all of those things come through. So if it's going to make you feel comfortable as a speaker, coach, or trainer, try wix.com, but don't purely rely on it, like Yoke mentioned. There is many ways. When I research people, in all honesty, I don't research through, I don't go to people's websites. I check their visibility on social media, LinkedIn, YouTube, things like that, because I'm a visual learner. And a lot of the times people's websites are so outdated in anyhow, they don't update their websites. So, and that, that's just something, that's just my 2 cents. But if it's going to make you feel comfortable just to put basic information on, put wix.com and then link it to your My Google business.
Yep.
And by the way, just to add some value there, I don't think a lot of us speakers realize the impact Google reviews has when it comes to SEO and positioning of ourselves as well as a brand. Google reviews is phenomenal, and it really does boost your profile. Yeah, so that's just also a little bit of advice there.
Wow.
And LinkedIn testimonials and reviews and things, yeah, that's so important. Every time at the end of my presentations, what I do is a lot of the times they want my presentation, and I said to them, well, I'll give them a QR code or a link. And basically what I do is they need to connect with me on LinkedIn like Yoke does and leave a review or a testimonial or recommendation, and that just boosts your profile on LinkedIn as well. So yeah. I think in corporates, when I deal with a lot of corporates, and I totally get you when it comes to that procurement. And unfortunately, a lot of times you have to go through procurement. You have to have your compliance docs in order and all of that. And if you do, it makes it easier for the person who's recommending you, the word of mouth and all of that. Then you get in the door quicker. But pregnancy brain hit me now. Oh shit! What did I want to say now? Hold on 1 second. It was, oh my word. Okay, don't worry, I'll come back to it because I completely forgot. But basically, to get into corporates, and I'm very honest, a lot of people ask me how I do that, is literally through word of mouth. So people who I have worked with in the past, I ask them which companies or which colleagues do they have in the HR industry, because I work a lot with HRs, with L&Ds and all of that, and they know my work. So they refer me very quickly through to other corporates and get me onto their database and then see how they can position me to their company. So a lot of my work comes through word of mouth. I've done a digital detox completely. I haven't been visible with regards to YouTube, social media, and all of that. But again, it's your business model. And again, it's your priority of time. Like Jabu mentioned, YouTube eats his time. So whereas the other platforms don't. And whether you got a team or not, and I know at the convention they spoke about having a team. Guys, I do everything by myself. I don't have a team. I don't have a VA. I don't have anything. And I'm a mother of 3. If I can do it, you can do it. You don't need money in order to make money. And there's this myth that you do. And I don't believe it is. You are your brand, not your presentation. You are your brand. And it's so important to speak your brand out there. And again, being authentic, guys, and be very honest with you. I only refer people to my clients who I know are damn right authentic to the heart, to the core, and that's not doing it for money, but it's doing it to make a difference and really wants to make a bigger impact. So again, have a look at what your vision and your mission is in life, because that will also determine your path. Yeah. Sorry, I'm rambling on now. Sorry.
No, thank you. Thank you so much.
That was great. Thank you so much, Taryn. I really, really appreciate that. Guys, we're going to be having more meetings. And honestly, my vision for our chapter is to have more meetings like this where incredible, real, practical, implementable value can be shared. and I'm working very hard on identifying speakers. Next month, we're going to be having one. He's not a member of the PSASA, but he's one of the best-selling authors that you don't know about because he didn't publish his books through the mainstream. Has a massive following online and actually runs his own private events, makes loads and loads of money without necessarily being the most well-known speaker and without actually being part of any association, except he's going to be joining us as a PSASA member, if I have my way. So I'm just throwing a pitch out there for what's going to be happening next month. But for now, I'm going to hand everything back over now to Tyron to close us off, and just to give us a bit of some reminders of some of the things that we need to be reminded of. And yeah, Tyron, over back to you, Mr.
Thank you, Jobu. And I just want to thank both you and Yoke for the immense amount of information you've shared. I think we've all got a lot of practical value out of tonight. So I just want to congratulate you, Jobu, as your first chapter president, or first chapter meeting as president. It has been amazing, and I'm looking forward to what you're going to do for the rest of the year. It's exciting. So now just the boring stuff is those that are new to the PSASA, please go and sign up for the newsletter and go ahead and have a look at our I wish I could say I had pregnancy brain, but I do not have that excuse. The masterminds. Thank you. So go and look at the masterminds. They're free to attend for anyone. It's you don't have to be a member of the PSASA yet. And there are different types of masterminds. It's about podcasts. It's about virtual speaking, book writing. I'm going to actually go through the list for coaches, trainers, and facilitators. The home language masterminds, well-being mastermind, and I believe we've got a women's mastermind as well. So there's a lot of value that you can get in those groups as well if you're still testing the waters and unsure. And then the virtual chapter meetings are free for anyone to attend as well. So you don't have to be a member yet, so you can see what the other meetings are like. But if this is your first experience of a meeting, you can see that there's a lot of value that you gain out of this. So yeah, just to say thank you to everyone that attended, and a reminder that we meet every last Thursday of the month. So we'll see you again next month. Back to you, Jobin. Jason's got his hand up.
Oh, Mr. Jason. Yes, Jason.
How's it? Good evening, everybody. Sorry, a little bit of dark.
Jason, just drop your mic.
Sorry, I haven't been on silent all evening. Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Jason, and I am the president of the Cape Town chapter, and I'm just sneaking in here. We are having a meeting on Tuesday evening, and we've got somebody, a guest speaker, who calls herself the PR Ninja, and she's specifically going to be talking about PR for speakers. She is a speaker as well, but she's focusing her talk specifically on PR work, and her name is Cindy Pavasic, for those of you that may know her. And if anyone is interested in coming, we are doing it online because the way things are at the moment, we haven't yet got a venue for in person. And if anyone's interested, it is online for you to RSVP to join, and I'm looking forward to having some of you there as visitors. Just wanted to sneak that in. Thanks very much. And a great meeting tonight. Jabu, you did an awesome job with how you put the meeting together, and all the info from all three of the speakers tonight, from you and from Yoke and from good old Mr. What shall we call him? Red pill, blue pill, red pill. It was a great evening. Thank you.
Well, thanks very much, Jason, and thank you so much for joining us and being with us from all the way down from Cape Town. So for those who are new again, once you've joined PSASA, you are more than welcome to join any of our chapter meetings. Just visit our website, and then you'll be able to find everything over there. So from my side, guys, thank you so much once again for taking time to be here. Just a reminder from Yoke there, she's dropped her link for the offer that she has for you guys. You can just click on there and of course go have a look at that. But from my side, thank you for being with us. We're going to be meeting again, as Taryn has said, the last Thursday of next month. If you have any ideas, by the way, or suggestions as far as the type of speakers we're going to bring or the subjects we want to cover, or even if you're thinking, hey, you know what, there's something that I think I can contribute, do get in touch with me, and then we can talk about that. From my side, have a great evening. Good night.
Woohoo. Good night, Chabu. Good night, everyone. Love you all.
Good night. Good night. Bye bye.
Taryn.
Good night,
Thanks,
everybody.
Mr.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye, guys. Cheers.